What drew you to the arts initially?
You know, I come from a family where my parents thought that a good education, required that you did do some art. So everybody played a musical instrument. I did ballet. I did some theater. There was like this notion that a well-rounded education also included, the arts. And so I think as a child, when you're given a slate of opportunities to dream yourself in whichever way you want. Even though my dad was a doctor, and my mom later on is like, how come there are no doctors in this family? We all said, well, you gave us the opportunity to look at the world from different lenses, and the arts was really where I felt that I really wanted to be, and kind of like a world that drives me all the time. And this is where I feel that I want to be involved, and I want to bring more people to understand the work that artists do and what art can mean in one's life.
What brought you to the Wexner Center for the Arts?
What I really, really liked was the scope of the institution, the fact that it has, performing arts, film, and video, and visual art, and also a robust, learning and public practice department. It really summarizes everything that I really am passionate about, and then also I would say the reputation of the institution, which is the fact that it is based in a university of like 60,000 students, and which to me feels like 60,000 minds that you can speak to, open their minds to the world of artists, and entice to be lifelong learners through the work of artists, right? And then also the reputation of the institution as an institution that was always like avant-garde and gave so many artists the right support to grow.
Were you familiar with the Wexner Center before you took the job?
Yes.
How did you learn about it?
Well, because of artists that have shown here before, curators that have worked here before, also, so for about 10 years and a half, I was at the power plant, and early on, so the power plant started in '87, and the Wexner started in '89. And I can't remember which year, but at some point there was the exhibition of Glenn Ligon, which was first produced at the power plant that traveled to the Wexner Center for the Arts. So, and I think, between Harbourfront Center, where the power plant is, the Walker Art Center, the Wexner, there's a legacy of looking at these institutions that are not in the center as places where artists actually are given the ability to do great work.
Why is it important for a university like Ohio State to have an art center like the Wexner Center?
I think it's like the dream, right? You even to give agency to the curators that are inside the institution to think boldly, to believe, because it's a university where research is really important. So the ability to rethink the world through the lenses of the work of artists, whether it's filmmaker, video artists, or performing artists and visual artists, I think that to be a laboratory where you can really welcome an artist and provide the artist with the infrastructure for them to keep thinking and keep evolving and keep developing their work, without this pressure of saying, we need 100,000 people to be inside of the institution. Because, I would say a standalone museum has requirements that are different than a university art gallery inside a university that's a research-based university that has everything that OSU can provide. It is teaching, it is research, it's documenting, it's writing, it's all of these elements that enable an artist to move beyond, their thoughts and to expand the scope of their work.
What is your vision for the Wexner Center's relationship to the larger university community?
I think it's, I think I was just having a meeting with the Learning and Public Practice Department. And what's incredible, they do so much in the Columbus community. But one of the things that I would like all of us to think about is how do we reveal some of this work that sometimes when it happens, you don't know, but later on you figure out that, this artist produced a film or edited a film on the cameras of the Wexner Center. And then after, the artist is shown at the new museum, or the work is acquired somewhere else, or ends up in Venice Biennale or São Paulo Biennale. There's all of these stories that sometimes people forget to tell, but are instances where the organization is very present in communities. They have so many school groups, they have internships. Even if you think of the great artists that I've shown here, the great curators that I've worked here, all these people go into the world, and it's a little bit part of the Wexner Center that is also in their life's histories.
Earlier this year, the Wexner Center announced free gallery admission. Why is access to the arts important to you?
Well, because I think we want everyone to feel that artists are speaking to them regardless of who they are, their social economic background. I've always been, if there's certain works, if I recall them, I remember the emotion that I had watching a film, or the emotion in front of an artwork or dance performance. And I always feel that that would be my gift to the world, would be trying to transmit that emotion, that we provide an opportunity that somebody walks in, sees something, and then their heart stops. Or you want the performance to continue, even though as you've sat down for an hour, you're like, this is going to end soon, but you don't want it to end because you're in this moment that is really, that makes you happy, brings you joy. So that's why I think art is important, because it's important for your soul, and, a healthy body or a healthy mind and in a healthy body, all of this functions together. And it's human creativity. We can't function. We cannot have a good society if we don't have arts and culture to bridge all of it together.
What do you see as the Wexner Center's role in this emerging campus arts district?
Well, I mean, it's still to be decided, but the thing that's beautiful is that we're really at the center of it, right? So we can build bridges with the music department, with each of these departments, and that's really what the university wants to do, to achieve. I definitely want to be, the whole team here wants to be part of that district. For one, we want more people to know the great work that's being done here, and we want to give them more access to it, and then that becomes exponential. The more you have a focus on the arts, the more people from different areas are going to come to it. So I think that, and I think it's very bold and very smart of the university to focus on art as a catalyst for community, city building, and as a real touch point that can ground people and ground the work or the civil responsibility of the university within the city and the region of Columbus.
Here's an easy one. Who are some of your favorite artists?
You know that if I start saying, then I'm going to get in real trouble. So I will not say names, because but I would tell you that the work of artists that I love the most are artists that keep me thinking about their work, and also artists whose practice is multi-layered, which means the two of us could see the same work, but I might be the meaning of the work or the way the work resonates with me might come from a completely different perspective than your own, but we are looking at the same object or encountering the same work. And that also works of artists that reveal themselves over time. So there's so many artists who do this, luckily for us. So finding one would be like impossible.
What do you like most about Columbus so far?
I don't know. Everybody's really nice. You know, when I came for my interview, I lost my passport in the airport. Somebody found it and brought it back. I mean, that was like, those people are good people, you know, because, you know, you're in the middle of the pandemic. And I know that in Canada, we had big delays on passports. Like, and I was like, oh my God, how will I survive without my passport? And the next morning I went to the lost and found and it was there. So that for me, and a friend of mine's like, wow, nowhere else. You know, we were. So I think I don't know, everyone that I've met so far has been really sunny disposition, and everybody's been really welcoming and really nice and really excited and really engaged in the project of what is the Wexner Center. But I think, you know, there's a yearning to do good and to do good work that feels very right for me at this point.
What are you most excited to experience now that you're here at Ohio State?
Am I supposed to say a football game?
I have a question about a football game, don't worry.
I mean, I don't know. You know, it feels like there's so much that I need to figure out and understand. And you know, I want to get a sense of the campus, get a sense of all the incredible, you know, departments all the incredible things that are being done here. Just to say that I feel it's such a rich environment, that there's so much to learn and so many people to meet, and it's such a robust, you know, faculty and university, and that I feel that, you know, it feels that everybody is at the top of their game and really invested in the job at hand, right? They're here, they push research, they are interested in being at Ohio State University, you know. This is the feeling that I get from my new colleagues that I meet. Everybody has their eyes twinkling and being really excited about being here. So that's really encouraging.
Have you been to an American college football game before? Are you planning on attending any?
I had brothers, you know. But I think I'm an old generation. I'm still stuck in, you know, Mean Joe Green and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's like a long time ago. And it's true that I've lived in Europe for many years. So I was more like, you know, soccer, the what they call football. So that's more would be something that I would, let's say, you know, follow periodically. But I've always been known to. I usually listen to a lot. Like, I listen to the news, and I would always listen to sports news. And then I try to stay aware, and I love the fact that, you know, as somebody in the arts, if I talk to somebody and then I know a lot about sports, they're always like, how? I'm like, well, you know, it's part of culture also. So if this university or if this city, you know, their heart beats hard for their football team, then, you know, I need to pay attention to this, because that's part of what's building this community. The same way that I want the arts to be something important, I can't sit on the side of the arts and just go, sports is like not a value that I'm interested in, or a culture that I'm interested in. So for me, it's part of general knowledge, you know, or general understanding of where you are, is to and I mean, I hope I get invited to a game, but to see an image of your stadium like in red and with all of these people, I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable, you know? So there is this pageantry of everybody coming together, which I think is very interesting, and that I'm totally interested in, you know, being entrusted and thrown in the middle of that, you know, and I'll cheer and I'll learn.